Today we're gonna be painting Cyclops.
Hi, today I'm gonna be testing Rest Resin. First impression, the packaging is nice. I like the shape of the bottle. So my general opinion is that it is a good resin because my printing didn't fail. So that's good enough for me. And also I didn't have to change any of my settings to use it. Anyway, less talking and more printing. Now I need to wash the pieces with alcohol and let's try to not make a mess like I did trying to take off all the pieces of the printer. Remember, all the pieces go inside your bat, not outside. Look at this Magnetos helmet. And let's turn this machine on, and in the meantime, look at this beautiful and handsome Cyclops. Now that we have all the pieces printed and washed, it is time to take off all the pre-supports. As you can see and hear, they come off pretty easily. This is a print test I'm making for Jace the sculptor who made this amazing Cyclops model. So what is the point about making a print test? It's to test in real life if all the digital work he made works together. Like if the codes are actually clean, if the keys are really holding the pieces together, pre-support is actually printing the pieces. For example, for the pants, I had to print it twice because the first one didn't have enough supports and the printer obviously failed. The second one went better, but a small detail like the canteen fell because it didn't have enough supports. But it's nothing like too noticeable, and since this is a prototype, I wasn't going to reprint the whole pen just for the canteen, so yeah, I just leave it like that. The most important thing here is that you don't waste your money with failed prints or keys that are wrong or anything like that. So I'm gonna be making these printers with Jace. And I hope you like this kind of videos. So if you have any feedback or suggestions, please leave it in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this. Now let's start with a more time-consuming part of painting, at least for me, that is post-processing all the pieces to make it look nice and ready for the paint part. For this process, always try to use a mask, because if you don't, you will probably always be smelling a lot of dust resin and you don't want it on your lungs. Something I'm sure Jace have already fixed are those really big holes that he made for the press support. I don't know why. Maybe it was a mistake, but those holes were just huge, insanely huge. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't have them on your files. Now I'm gonna show you how do I fill the joints when I have to put together two pieces like this vase. I like to use a mix of baby powder and the regular resin we use for printing and create a putty, and I use the UV lamp to cure it. With a Dremel, I like to make some texture to just try to hide the joint. I hope I'm not the only crazy here that thinks that post-processing is just about sanding like there is no tomorrow, but that's mostly what I do when I have to post-process in a piece, just sanding like a crazy. Moving on with the next step, I'm using a black primer to give a first coat of primer. I'm using this black primer for all the pieces, not only the base. As you can see here in the video, I think we did a good job on the joint of the base. It is almost unnoticeable. Of course, it also helps that it is made mostly of rocks, dust, and soil. Do you remember those holes we were filling on the cape? We did a good job filling and sanding those, but you shouldn't have those on your files because the cape is pretty thin and it is not supposed to be having drain holes. You should print it like fully solid. With the whole model assembled, I'm gonna create a cenital illumination, create some shadows, and of course illumination from the top of the model. Give us some contrast and also create more texture when we are going to paint. Now I'm grabbing each piece to spray more white on every single piece. Always remembering I have to do it from the top, so I leave the shadows. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want the model to be too dark. That noise you're hearing in the back is my compressor. Finally, we made it to the funny part. We have to paint. I'm starting with the cape. I'm painting it with pure red. As you can see, on the places we painted more white, the red looks more vibrant. Remember that since we have black spots, you will need to spray more than one layer of red. I'm using an orange paint to give some variation to the red. I'm using it more on the highlights. With this black wash, I'm trying to get back some contrast, mostly on the lines of the cape. With a paper towel, you can get rid of all the excess wash. Now with a yellow paint, I'm going to use a dry brush to give some more highlights on the top of the fold. With these simple steps, we have created a more interesting cape, not only flat red. And that's it, the first piece is ready. I'm starting the chest with an electric blue. And you might be wondering why it is looking like I have different tones of blue. Remember, it is because we made a base with a primer black and white, and it is giving us a different tones of blue. Now with a sky blue, I'm trying to pop up some of the textures where the highlights should be. For the leather straps, I'm using a light brown to give a nice base because I'm going to use some washes after this. But first I'm using again dry brush, but with some different technique. I'm using this time a darker brown to give it more, I don't know, sense of it is more like a warm leather. I forgot to record it, but I did also a wash with a brown ink. Then I'm doing some details of the metal, just dry brushing silver over the black coat. I thought this scarlet red was going to be the perfect red for the eggs, but of course I was wrong. So I just painted again the eggs with silver, and with the red ink I gave it 2 coats and it looked nice. I was happy with the result, better than the scarlet red. I was really worried about the pants because they are jeans and I didn't want them to look the same blue as the chest. But at the end, it came out great. I just used a lot of dry brush. I used the same sky blue we used it on the chest, but I gave it another look with some washes. I used a dark blue wash, then a black wash too. I believe those washes made a difference between the pants and the chest. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. For the knee pads, I used an elfic flesh from Vallejo color as a base, and then with some washes, I give it some textures like dark brown, dark green, and also a black wash to give it this dirty looking that it has. For the detail on the belt, I'm doing the same thing we did for the X and the chest. So you use only the silver as a base coat and then use the red ink to give it that reddish looking. Moving on with the boots, I'm using brown sand from Vallejo Colors too to give it the base coat, because I want to give different textures on those pads that it has. Like here on the front, I'm using the same but with a little bit of dark brown and just passing another coat to give it more sense of the darker color. Now for the leather, I'm doing the same process we did earlier for the chest and the pants. Started this boot thinking of the caterpillar boots, so I'm trying to give it a color like brownish, so I'm using a brown wash with a black wash to blend all the colors together, and I think I kind of did it. I mean, it's my version of caterpillar boots, but I think I like it, okay? I like it. So now I'm going with the details, like the part of metals. There is mud on the soles of the boots, so I'm just dry brushing it with some gray color. And then I don't know if I recorded it, but I passed another layer of black ink to give it a sense of more dirty. For this model, I'm trying to keep the skin painting simple, so I'm using these 4 Tom Colors paintings. I'm using the shadow to give it a base, and then with a light sand, I'm doing some zenithal painting again to give it some light and contrast, and then using the base to blend it together, and with a medium skin tone, I'm just giving some lights. Something I can recommend you is to paint inside your keys, because the joints sometimes just don't fit really well because the resin expansion and things like that. And it happened to me that I don't paint it and I put the pieces together. You can see white spots, and you don't want that. So remember to paint it, and don't drop your airbrushes like I did, please. With all the pieces finally painted, and give it a varnish coat so you can protect the paint, I'm using these washes, but these are kind of different from the ones we used before because it is really diluted paint. You don't want this to actually paint or put yellow on your skin. It's just a really diluted layer. I'm starting with the yellow, then with the blue. As you can see, it is almost not visible that I'm painting blue. I don't want to paint a line of blue. With these dark brown pastels, I'm using to dry brush a little bit the arm hairs, not too much, just a little, and you can see the difference between the one painted and the one that is not. More break to introduce you to Denny. Say hi. Final detail for the skin, I'm lowering the pressure of the compressor and doing some freckles with the airbrush. As you can see, I'm using a diluted dark brown to give those texture we have on our skin. For the hair, I was thinking about making him brown hair, but then I saw the renders and some comics, and he is actually a redhead, so I just put some orange on that brown I was using, so I think it is looking nice. Now for the teeth, don't use just pure white because it will look weird. Combine it with some maybe skin tone. You can use a diluted dark brown wash to give it some kind of dirty looking because he is actually not that clean. For his visor, I'm using the AK brass metallic color. I just used that. I didn't put it anymore. Just I think an ink, a brown ink, I believe. I think you must got the leather process because we have been doing almost 3 times, I believe. If you see a difference on the hairs, it's because I also dry brushed the orange we used on the hair. We are getting closer to the end. Use a dark green to paint a base on these plants, and then with a frog green I did some lights and some textures, and with a green ink I blended it all together. I'm painting this base only with inks. First, I'm spraying a general layer of brown on the soil. The black, another coat, but adding more layers to the shadows. Also, I'm adding random spots on the tree. Now with this green, I'm creating another layer of random spots. As you can see, I'm not painting the whole piece, I'm just painting some spots. And these bricks I'm using just gray because I'm going to do the same, just adding black and maybe brown inks too. The last color I'm using is yellow because I think the trunk has different shades, so you don't have to make it just brown or green. You can mix different colors and in different spots to give it some realism. Honestly, I don't remember how many layers of inks I gave to this base, but you can put as you want because I just stopped until I was happy with the result. And finally, with a light brown, you can just pop up some lights and use the texture of the model to bring some light. The Magnetos helmet was pretty easy because I only sprayed a base coat of this metallic red from green stuff, and then I put little drops of the red ink we used before because I thought the red was a little bit off and I didn't like it, so I just added those drops of the red ink and the color looks much better, more vivid. And with the combination of violet and purple, I'm painting the details of the helmet. Also, for final touch, I'm using the black ink to give it some vibe of it is used. The ray is the final piece. I'm using this Createx Candice color to give it that transparent looking. First with blood red, I'm painting the general gray. And then with some rubber orange, I'm painting some spots to give those different shades. Finally, with the yellow, I'm painting the tips, and when it is all nicely dry, I'm just going to apply a gloss varnish. I like to mix different types of varnish because I don't like the full satin looking. So for the skin, for example, I first apply a really matte varnish, and then with some satin I give some random spots where the skin might be shiny or maybe some drops. And also I'm doing the same for the base. I'm putting some gloss combined with satin to give some shine to the, like there is some water in the plants and maybe on the soil and also on the tree. And that's it. We finished this beautiful piece. If you like this model, go check Jace's Patreon, subscribe and be part of the team.
So guys, thank you for watching this video. This is my very first video, and as you can tell, I'm not an English speaker. I actually speak Spanish, and this is a little bit hard for me because I can't explain myself as I would like to, but I promise you I'm gonna get better on the next videos. So, talking about the figure, we painted this amazing Cyclops from Jace's sculptor. I had a lot of fun painting it. If you print this figure and something you watched on my video help you, I would love to see your comment below. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope to see you on the next one. We are gonna be painting magnetos. So please subscribe and like, and also subscribe on the Patreon. If you have any suggestion, leave it in the comments. See you soon.